Hey guys, welcome back to Fleetyards Reviews. Another Orville review today.
It's
I'm
back.
Captain Foley. Yes.
I'm Connor Coggins. They had a week off. There's a week rerun. We were like, no Orville. But now it's back. And there's a review because of that.
That's right. And it's episode 11 that we're looking at today. And it's called New Dimensions. Which made me think immediately that it's a Mirror Universe episode. Or something like that. But it wasn't. So.
Yeah, instantly I thought, well, that's a coincidence. Discovery and Orville doing parallel universes, which is great. I mean, would be great to see parallel in this one as well. But I'm like, that's interesting. But no, sort of, mostly. So as we always do, we don't discuss this beforehand. So Stuart, what were your thoughts on this episode overall?
Overall, a really good episode. Definitely thought outside the box a little bit. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good one.
Did it think inside the square rather than the box?
Ha! Ha ha! Ha!
Thanks.
Ironically enough, some of the characters in this episode I thought were a little two-dimensional. Ha! And not just, ha! But anyway, we'll get on to that.
Yeah, I like this episode. My sort of takeaway was it was fun and good sci-fi. It wasn't like an amazing episode in any particular way, and I was watching the whole time thinking, okay, where's the payoff? Like, it was sort of building up, but it was more of a sciencey build-up and payoff. But it was fun. It was and I'm glad we got a Lamar episode, because we've said that the whole time.
Yes.
And we actually got a proper one for him, which was great.
That's exactly what I put. I mean, finally a good episode about John Lamarr. And that's basically all this episode was just basically building his character from start to finish.
What a journey, actually.
Yeah. But anyway, we'll get to that.
Yes.
We'll get to that. So it started off with this buffet, and I one of the first pans across the table, I noticed they had the TOS little Jello squares on one of the trays, and I just kind of laughed. Ha ha! And then that was it.
Yeah, I noticed the beautiful little hamburgers that was like perfect little
sliders.
Just to look so good. Just impressed. Yeah, this is a going away party for the engineer. We're actually losing a character already. We've sort of liked him vaguely. He had a decent amount of screen time throughout this last season, and yeah, he's leaving because he's been invited to design a space station. Good job. Cool.
Yeah, and he's hoping he can drink some beer or pop, as he puts it. So good little joke. Something you would say in real life. That's what another thing I like about this. The conversational humor is kind of a normal, everyday thing.
And I really liked Seth's. He's like awkwardly like, yep, It's a really awkward little pause there.
Yeah.
That the editor kept in. It's like, oh, you shouldn't drink all that job, but I know that, but you're leaving, so it's a positive note. I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah.
It's good.
So goodbye to Chief Newton. We loved you. I'm sure you'll be back. Maybe make a cameo.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we get these guys being doofuses. I wonder what the hell they were doing at this point, and it all pays off very quickly. Now, so that's the guy that does Cleveland Brown's voice.
Yes, I double researched that. Yeah,
that's the elevator guy. Does he do Roger's voice for American Dad as well?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
But yeah, you can tell it's Cleveland a little bit because it's got a little. But he's fun. I mean, he's an odd character. And he's definitely.
Yeah.
They like giving their odd characters time, and we thought that would be the same thing for the gel creature, but he's been like a major player. He's been one of the biggest recurring characters in the show. Seriously.
Well, I think this guy's going to play a bigger role in that too. He's going to. I love the way they're introducing people.
Well, the thing is, the actor's so good.
Yeah. And the makeup's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, and they've already fleshed him out as a weird thing. And it's so awkward. He's like, if you guys got to know me, I'm really funny. They're like,
if you want to be my friend, I'm funny. Yeah, I know.
It's like, but what are they doing, Stuart? Why are they?
Well, it pays off in the next scene. They're looking at Yaphet, and he hasn't noticed yet. And then he leaves, and then he goes to sick bay, and it's funny. Her reaction is like, "Oh, I really don't want to see this guy right now. This better not be a social call." He goes, "No, I'm missing a piece. Missing a piece of what? Of myself." Yeah. So they put a piece of him in one of the cakes, and basically the little piece of him is kind of conscious. It knows what's going on. It's in a dark, damp place. And I immediately went, oh, wonder when. I thought that was going to pay off at the end of the episode, and then Bordas comes in, and it just pays off right away. Bordas ate part of Yaphet.
And he's having stomach problems. A man with an iron stomach can't digest his fellow crew member.
That's a good thing.
Yes, and it's a strange scene because the whole time you're thinking, this is the initial joke, but it sort of keeps going, and it's not bad, but it's oddly paced. But it's certainly characterful, actually, because you learn something about them all, and you get to see them all. Because just seeing these characters, because we like everybody individually, see them interact is important, and how their internal relationships develop. And the next scene is somewhat interesting. The Doctor says, it would be easier for him to retrieve himself out of you than me. And Bordas is like, fine. And then it happens in all CGI glory. And it's cringe.
It's not too bad. Bordas' reaction wasn't like he wasn't gagging or anything, so I'm sure Yaffid was very gentle with him. Went down and
it's a thing.
Retrieved,
it's a thing.
Yeah, retrieved his piece.
But again, this is just alien culture. You know what I mean? This is them approaching. They're aliens. They do alien things. Aliens are different ways of life. It's not as big a deal as it looks, and that's great. It's showing this evolution of humanity by this sort of thing. Her reaction to this isn't like, oh, it's like, huh.
Medical curiosity.
Yeah, which is it's interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, needless to say, John and I can't think of the other guy's name offhand. Gordon.
Yeah.
John and Gordon get in trouble. I love the first officer kind of giving them the discipline here. It was really well done. And she's going to put it on their permanent record. She checks John's, and all of a sudden it's like this, you got to be kidding me. And then it goes to credits, and I'm like, what?
It's like
perfect.
What is the story now? Because obviously that story's about to begin. And it's like, huh. I thought straight away he was a criminal, or he, had a child or he's secretly a king of another planet. I thought that was a really high octane thing. But no, next scene he's in he's talking to the captain, and it's like, he's actually a genius. He's the second most smart person, IQ-wise and scores, to Isaac.
Yeah.
And boy, that's kind of a surprise.
Yeah. And I love Ed Mercer's response to that is like, oh yeah, but he hasn't really showed any desire to lead. So I don't know if I want to put him in that role. I mean, I'd probably be hesitant too. He wants to just sit on the bridge and drink his Coke and pilot the ship, which, you gotta have, people have to have the drive to get promoted, and he just doesn't seem to have that drive. So I understand. I just understand Ed's hesitation, even though Yaffid is next in line.
Well, yeah, I think you skipped the plot point there. Kelley says, give him more responsibility. Yeah. He's obviously, if he's the second most smart person on the ship and the smartest human, give him more responsibility. And if the chief engineer is leaving, maybe make him chief engineer. As you say, Ed's like, he says that's a hard sell. And it is. I mean, there's no reason.
Yeah.
We've seen him in a few episodes. I mean, this episode kind of puts into huge contrast his behaviour in the up-down vote episode.
Yeah.
And I watched an interview with Seth MacFarlane saying they actually prepped every single script before they even went to camera. So they knew his arc then.
It doesn't seem like it, though.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one that thought that, because I thought that other one was kind of out of place. I'm glad they aired it first before this one, obviously, but yeah.
I mean, you can still be personality driven and be very smart. I mean, there's no reason to assume that all smart people are Asperger's and like a Sheldon, whatever. You can still have suave people who do whatever, but it's doesn't fit his character up. If he hadn't done that, you could say, okay, he's quiet and a bit quirky, but that bit kind of two extremes. But I appreciate the conversation. They're actually discussing it like real people.
Yeah.
That's a great thing this thing does. And this was directed by Kelley Conn, as this picture shows, but also written by Seth.
Yes.
And there is some Family Guy essences to this, which I liked, little ones. And we get this nice little moment of, oh no, there's a thing, and they end up
boom
close on the couch. And there's a little frame I've got, just like, ooh, subtext.
It's gonna get funky, and then no. Turns out they actually sideswipe another dimension with the ship while they're in quantum. And it pulls them out of the quantum stream. And did we hit a squirrel?
That was great.
And Isaac's like, no mammalia are detected or whatever. That was hilarious.
Yeah. And then you have to work out what's going on. Wengen's down. They're stuck. They're not like any trouble or doomed yet, but they're stuck. but they want to work out what the anomaly is because they don't know what it is. It's interesting. And so Kelley's like, right, Lamarr, you are smart. Go help Isaac. They're a smart person. He's like, yeah, okay. Because obviously that's so out of context. He doesn't know that's coming. And then we get this scene that I was thinking of you. You're walking through this corridor and the kids show up. I was thinking Stuart's already turned it off and walked away. But it's like, no, it's nice. The kids are back for a scene. They're here. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine that they're back. Marcus and Ty are their names, and they're becoming more likable, but I do kind of still dislike children, but that's okay. I love what Isaac says to them when they ask if they can help. He goes, no, you're small and feeble, and you don't possess the necessary intelligence. And Lamar's like, why don't you just put him in a locker while you're at it, you know?
Yeah, it's great.
Because I think that was referencing him in high school, probably getting picked on for being so smart. That's why he chose to
yeah. That's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah. Good little scene. And they're not really important, but why not? It's just like I said last time, it's like the Avengers. It was cinematic universe. You might as well pull people in and use them if you've got them. You know, it's fine. It's fun.
Yeah. So then they go find Yaphet, and he's doing his detecting. There's some kind of quantum problem or quantum interference. And one of the kids... and then, of course, they laugh about the whole being in Bordas' colon. The kids have to have a chuckle about that because of potty humor, you know. But then one of the kids notices that the plant is dead.
What were you thinking at this point then? Because again, the plot hasn't really happened yet.
I thought it was like a rapid aging thing that you know the hull of the ship was going to start decaying because it's hundreds of years old and something like that, or maybe somebody or the crew would start to age. It's kind of the vibe I got at that point, but
yeah, I thought they hit an anomaly that has a different temporal signature, and because they said dimensions, I thought either we're going to see parallel versions of them or future them, but then when they undo them being stuck in the event, it doesn't happen, so therefore they reset, you know, that sort of thing. But yeah, I was like, okay, interesting. And then the kids aren't seen again, they're just there for a bit, and some whatever. Then there's a great briefing, and again, human dialogue. He's like, well, do we just not water the plants? I mean, no one lived there. Anyone water them? And he's like, do we actually have a plant guy, Kelley? And she's like, yeah, we do.
The reptilian.
And his name is, did I write it down?
Plovis.
Yes, thank you, Plovis.
Yes.
He's like, I can't remember that guy's name. She's like, Plovis, and he's awesome. He's like, it's just like, oh, it's fair enough. I mean,
hey, there you are. There's that guy. That's me. Like, I'm bad with names. I'm good with faces. I have to really talk to some people a few times before I can actually make the association.
And if you have 300 people in the crew and your job is here dealing with the ship stuff, if there's one botanist over here and you never deal with missions with real botany, you're not going to interact with him on a day-to-day basis. You'll know who he is for his record, but imagine having to know, not intimately, but having to know 300 people's first names, surnames, ranks, and speciality. It would take you a while, and some people would be less. I mean, even Janeway barely knows the lower deck people. And that's 120 people. You know?
Yeah. And then she goes and talks to him more about John and how she thinks it's a good idea because, you know, she got him. And I called this way back in one of our first reviews. I'm like, it's going to come out that she's responsible for getting where he is, and he's going to doubt everything he does from that point on. So I was like, yes.
It's interesting how I was wondering why Kelley's so forceful about this without even talking to Lamar. I'll show something in a minute, but she didn't even bring it up yet. But as you say, she helped Ed. She sees it. Well, she has that gut feeling. He had a gut feeling about the helmsman, which we'll talk about a little bit later, and go with that gut. And obviously, she lets it slip, and Ed's like, oh, and it's like, oh, this is the catalyst. I'm glad they got to this because the catalyst was needed to explore this part of the plot. Because once it comes out, you can move on even further in their relationship, which I'm interested to see. But again, it's interesting how this character, I mean, Ed is almost always in the right. And they keep giving Kelley the guilt, even though this time she did a purely right thing, maybe in the wrong way, but in the right thing, and yet she's still feeling guilty, or made to feel guilty, at least at this part, about it. So it's kind of like, well, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, he's talking to the Admiral, and they're like, all the Admirals here agree, you've done a fantastic job. You've earned that spot now.
Yeah.
Now after you've been put in it. And everybody has confidence in you, and he goes, except of course for me. which,
Yeah.
I mean, I would probably feel the same way.
Well, especially that afternoon, like, you have to process it.
Yeah.
But I thought that was really sweet, actually. He said, "Be honest." I was assuming he was going to be kind of like harsh to him, saying, "Ed, you were really bad. We gave you a chance. You've been okay." But he was like, "No, you've justified it.
Well,
You've done a good job. Well done."
To be fair, in the first episode, he did say, "You're nobody's first choice for this position, Ed."
Yeah. Well, that was then. I mean, that was when he was just coming off being a layabout. And it is worth noting that Kelley has convinced Ed to give John more responsibility at this point, so she's still pushing. He's kind of accepting, despite their relationships are still being professional. And then an interesting scene. We keep having these sorts of scenes with Mr. Grimes. Bridge cat, Stuart. Do they need a bridge cat?
No, because cats are useless creatures.
But you can stroke them and be friends and unconditional love, and everyone loves them.
I know, but you'd have hair everywhere, and it would walk across the consoles, and hit buttons with its paws. And
where did this scene come from? I mean, where did this come from?
I don't know.
Bridge cat.
Yeah, well, that's a
strange.
Family Guy thing. That's a very Seth MacFarlane. As you said, this had a few Family Guy moments. That was one of them.
I did think it was fun, though.
It was. And then how you can stroke them and you bond with them, and all of a sudden Isaac is stroking his... Well, Isaac considers them lower forms of life, right?
Yeah.
So I thought that was hilarious. He's like, "Are we bonding?"
Yeah. That payoff was worth the scene. I actually laughed out loud at that. You can kind of tell it's coming.
Yeah.
It's quite easy setup, but it's like the acting is just perfect.
Yeah.
And the pacing is perfect. The slow, like... Oh, god damn it, Isaac. Those two do have a special bond, though.
Yes, they do. And just the look on his face, like...
Brilliant.
Yeah.
That scene was good.
And then the next scene, she's talking about why you haven't embraced your, intelligence. And they talk about currency, how money used to be bought to buy houses and sandwiches. And then, once the replicators basically came into existence, there was no need for them. So their idea of wealth is how they interact and contribute to.
It's their reputation, is what I said.
Yeah. And he said something about he likes drinking beer and passing out, just doing his job, going home, drinking
Simple
beer
life.
and passing out. And she goes, "Do you like doing that?" "Yeah, I like drinking beer and passing out."
That's my idea of a good day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the idea that we never really explained in Star Trek exactly. I mean, it's been inconsistent about money, but them explaining it in their straight context of, we don't have money, but we have reputation. If you're amazing, people recognize you as being amazing, therefore you're worth more. And that's worth something. If you're the most famous scientist, then you're going to be able to get more resources because you will have this reputation. I really like that as a concept.
Well, that's the whole thing about Star Trek Utopian Future, is the fact that there's no longer the need to generate wealth. It's now the betterment of yourself and your humankind. But they explained it so simply, so quickly, in such a nice little scene. It was beautiful.
Yeah, I just felt like it was so short, concise, and perfectly explained.
Yes.
So that was very nicely written there. I really liked that. And yeah, he doesn't explain yet about the bullying, so we'll skip that. So next scene, interesting ship. We're not going to talk about it because it's basically just a brick in space. And it's certain sort of traders. Did I write? Yeah, Hobalak.
I thought it was Horbley.
Yeah.
Horbley
Horrible
smugglers.
something. Yeah.
Horrible smugglers. Horrible. They're not horrible.
Well, yeah. And the pilot's like, "You don't like these guys." Ned's like, "I don't know." And yeah, he's a bit of a slob. Weird scene, fun scene.
I love how Ed puts "and a napkin" into his comment. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
And great makeup again. I mean, every damn time it's an alien, they are blowing that out. Wow. Well done, guys. For TV budget, I mean, you can see the money being spent, and we know it's not being given the hugest budget in the world. And then one of my favourite bits of the episode is the guy's like, "No, I'm not going to listen, Anomaly editor. Don't need to listen to you." And he's like, "Well, we're not going to steal your stuff. We're not going to impound it. Just trying to keep you safe," which is good. But he knows he's going to go through this Anomaly anyway, and the ship goes in, and I had to play it twice because my brain didn't see it the first time. Goes into the Anomaly, okay, then comes out, but it is flat, and then it comes out 3D, and there's incredible perspective CG shot, and it's like, oh, that's a incredible visualization, and that's wonderful, and that really comes into play later. But I thought it was a practically real or something that was, yeah.
So long story short, he's dead. They take the shuttle over and find out he had a cardiac arrest due to whatever, and then Alaura walks in carrying a box, which is awesome. Sets it down, and it's full of krill plasma rifles, which the guy probably wouldn't have wanted to get boarded. That's why he was kind of ignoring them. Makes sense.
So they're back on the ship, and obviously they've been doing the professional job, but now Kelley's saying, Ed, just talk to me. He's like, oh, I'm not ignoring you, I'm just busy. Obviously she pushes it, and he says, look, this is how I'm feeling. This is what you did. I know it was for the right reasons, sort of, but I'm second-guessing myself. That's important. You know, and when he said a couple of times throughout this episode, and especially early on, I'll never know what would have happened if you hadn't done that. And I thought, because of the dimensions thing, and also because there was a alternate universe potentiality with the ship, I thought they were going to see an alternate version of him where that hadn't happened, and he was still a captain. I thought that was going to happen at this point. I was like, okay, he's going to see that he was going to be a captain either way. Maybe later on we'll see that, but I was kind of like, that could be interesting. See, the way they sort of hearkened that one line of like, well, we'll never know, will we?
I never even thought about that, but yeah, that would have been. Yeah, that didn't even cross my mind. This was one that I didn't. This was one that I wasn't trying to predict what would happen. For some reason, I just enjoyed this one thoroughly. I don't know if it's just the mood I was in. I was just sitting down and.
Well, it was a very gentle meander of an episode.
Yeah.
With a very strong focus. Every other scene's back to Lamarr, but we both wanted that episode, so we were wanting to know what was happening. It's like it's a great episode in the sense that some films are a sequel to be the next big bad thing. Some films, like the Avenger films, like all the different Marvel, are just another chapter in the story. You know, they're not a sequel. It's just, this is another story we're going to tell, because they've got such freedom. So this episode wasn't a sequel to anything, wasn't a big action scene. It's just, this is an episode, another chapter in this tale of these people, with a bit of science. And that was good. I liked it.
Yeah. And then, there he is. And just in case you guys forgot, because Ed obviously did, his name is Plovis. And I'm sure he's going to be another recurring character showing up every once in a while. And Ed's going to be ongoing. Hey, there he is. That was hilarious. I laughed at that.
Yeah. I mean, it's such an easy setup, but it's like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah. And then so Ed comes back to his office, and Yavik's there. He's like, how'd you get in? I'm Gel.
Now,
okay, fair enough.
Now, here's where I kind of... Well, I didn't think it yet. Once we find out that it's a two-dimensional plane or existence, I thought they're going to use Yavis. I can't even say his name now. What's his name?
Yavik.
I thought they were going to use him because he can go flat. I thought there was going to be some need for him at some point once we found out it was a two-dimensional.
Well, it's strange how much emphasis they've put on his character. I mean, we called him out in the original trailer as being, that's amazing, but we assumed it was a one-off joke. Yeah. I mean, is that just Seth saying, no, we've got the technology, we've got the money, this is what Gene Roddenberry would have done, have a fully fleshed out CG, well, not fully fleshed out, but you know what I mean?
Fully gelled
recurring. Yeah. That. And it's strange, but he is developing. I mean, there is more to him, and he's certainly a qualified engineer. I mean, the fact that he was going to be, he's next time to be chief engineer, that says enough about him to warrant it. So, but yeah, he's kind of annoyed. This because he was kind of a little bit harsh, because he's saying, you know, why are you bringing Lamarr in? He just pissed me around, literally pissed me around and threw me around, you know, but he's a nobody, he's not engineering, why are you putting him here? It's like, well, he's in... Oh.
I'd be pissed too. It's speciesist. He calls it racism, but it's more... I would think it would be cool to see him promoted to chief engineer. But... Yeah.
It was strange. Ed, professionally though, he kept saying, we feel that... But actually, it's just Kelley. I was expecting him to put her under the bus there, but no, he was a professional. And that, again, says something about his character. Yeah. But yeah, then... See, the gel guy calls him out, and it's like, he's not being... But why the hell would you promote Lamarr? He has he's never shown engineering expertise, never shown leadership expertise. Just because intelligence and good marks in school, that does not make an engineer. I
Yeah,
I mean,
so-
obviously, you make Yavik engineer, and you make the other guy second in command, who leads the team, who does the ground. Yeah, it was a very strange scenario because everyone's right and wrong at the same time.
Yeah, but I can totally see Yavik's point of view. I mean, this guy's only been on the bridge. She's kind of a joker.
Yeah.
Not really doesn't take anything seriously. So, yeah, like you said, not been in engineering. So how is he getting ahead of me now? What's going on?
Oh, it's kind of like giving Chekhov, into darkness, chief engineer for no reason.
Yeah.
You're totally right for the job, not the second chief who's waiting until the job. It's like, yeah. I mean, surely Yavik was thinking, oh, the guy's leaving, I'm getting a promotion soon. Yeah, it wasn't really fair.
No.
And then we're back on Lamar. He's really nervous about going to the engineering room. And again, great they have all these sets just ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, always good to see them. And what do you think about this whole scene with the
Gumdrops?
Yeah.
I thought it was a little silly. I did think it was funny that he actually did go ahead and do it. And then when the guy was about to eat it, he's like, no, and he starts yelling at them. I'm like, yeah, that's the way to inspire your team. Good job, man.
Wait, did you actually think that, or are you being sarcastic?
I was being sarcastic.
Okay,
Like,
good, yeah.
Kind of jumping off the deep end a little bit there.
Goes
Not
from
a
1
great
to
first
100.
impression. Yeah. And he's
Although-
like, yeah, forget it. This is stupid.
Yeah, it was a really odd scene. But it's interesting that is the engineering staff. Well, no,
Yeah.
I guess that's just they're just trying to scan stuff. I suppose that's just the scanning crew. But I guess it doesn't need to be a huge crew in this engineering space. There isn't that many consoles. And then they ask for it's a case of you tell us one unique thing about you, and Cleveland alien goes on about how you refurbish his old furniture. And it's like, that's such a great, just well acted. It's just.
And he didn't even get to eat his gumdrop.
I know. I felt sad. I felt genuinely sad for him. He earned that gumdrop. It was a great fact about him.
Yeah. Anyway, we go on to learn. Lamarr notices that it's a two-dimensional anomaly, and so this is kind of where I'm like, so Yafik is feeling like Lamarr got ahead of him, but now they're in a two-dimensional thing that they have to deal with, and since he just said he's gel, he can go through underneath the door. He can be a two-dimensional thing, and he's going to end up solving the day and end up getting the job ahead of Lamarr. I thought that kind of thing was going to happen because Lamarr really doesn't want it, and whatever. But getting ahead of myself there a little bit.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway,
yeah.
3 krill ships are approaching, so they need to hide.
And there's a great moment where they say, okay, krill ships inbound, 36 minutes. How long to the engines? An hour and 20. Shit.
They've increased speed, 14 minutes.
They're already here. Oops. It was the wrong button. It was 14.1 seconds, not 14 minutes. Yeah. And so they make the plan. We're going to go into the 2D universe. And they're like, excuse me? We can't survive. The Doctor... And again, everyone's kind of smart in this episode for the most part. The Doctor's saying, even if we can go inside, come out the other, be relatively intact. The fact is, we're in a 3-dimensional plane, and our literal DNA, our literal polygons. Wow, I'm so in 3D. Our literal atoms are a 3-dimensional thing, even if they're abstractly 3D. So when you squish them and then unsquish them, if they're not in the perfect right condition, they don't work properly, so you die.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, how the hell are they going to realise this? That's incredible technology to actively put a barrier around your ship to avoid conforming to that universe's dimension's properties. Does that mean that a 2-dimensional creature could create an energy field to then survive in a 3-dimensional plane, still be 2D and not a little bit different?
Well, that was kind of discussed. 4th dimensional and 5th dimensional beings could be spying on us, and we don't even know it because we aren't aware of their existence. And Gordon is like, could they see under a blanket? And Ed's like, I don't know where you're going with this, but I'm changing the subject.
Yeah, we all do. I thought beyond hope, 2 things at this point. We're talking about. I assumed that joke, which is a few seconds away, but I thought that joke was, what if they're watching us right now? What if we're just there for their entertainment? I assumed it'd be like a meta joke about us watching them on the TV. And I was thinking to myself, my God, I hope they do this. In the 2D realm, that they would flatten and it would become an episode of Family Guy in the sense everything would then be two-dimensional drawings, but they can still move. I was like, this is their chance to make a animated flat version of the show. I don't know if that crossed your mind.
Yeah, I wanted to see something like that. I was thinking the same thing. I didn't think animated though. I just thought.
Well, no, but something clever
Yeah.
that would be 2D. I was like, that you gotta do that. That's but no, the ship goes into the other realm. Great CG at flattening, and then just
Well, they got create a quantum bubble around the ship first.
Yes.
Because even though the lower quantum ring is damaged, they can't actually move. Well, they can move, just not at quantum speeds.
Yes.
They create a bubble around the ship, just like a warp bubble, and transition into the two-dimensional.
Yeah, and then we get this realization. What did you think of the two-dimensional universe?
I wrote it looks like a Tron video game. A very 2D funky environment. I didn't understand it. I know it doesn't have to follow any rules or anything, but apparently there were living beings there, and I just saw funkiness. It was just a weird visualization of, I don't know. I guess you can't 2D space and stars, so they need to do something different.
Yeah, I think that was the point. Completely. It was like, we can't really relate to it. And they even say, I think these are life forms. This is their universe. This is life. And it's like, how do you even think about this? And I thought visually it was very video gamey, and being so bright and model looked more 3D rather than real. But I was like, it's really interesting, and certainly ballsy as like let's do something really interesting. And yeah, it's cool.
Looked like a huge circuit board.
Yes. Yeah.
And anyway, then we get the joke about they can see us, maybe, because they're all two-dimensional beings. And then we go down to the mess hall, and she talks to Ed. And this is a really good conversation, actually. It's funny how he says this is the worst apology ever, even though it really shouldn't have been an apology, and it wasn't. He says, I need time to deal with this.
Yeah, I mean, she calls him a prideful arse, and he says, what are we in, a Jane Austen novel?
Yeah.
Good dialogue. Good dialogue. This episode was a lot of repeated scenes, though.
Yeah.
It was a good thing. It was good science with a good pace of that sciencey stuff, but then continuous, repetitive, the same scenes showing the same beats, just progressing, and it wasn't a huge disadvantage to it. I mean, you want character episodes. That's great. But it all, but it didn't like soar, but it was good. Yeah, it was one of those like you could put it on the background, or you just watch it a couple of times if you're doing a binge. You're not going to skip it or anything, but yeah, it's just pretty good.
And then the quantum field kind of fails a little bit, and they kind of get squashed, and they fix it. And then all of a sudden, for some reason, everybody turns into 11 from Stranger Things. They've all got the nosebleed. Sorry, I had to. It's the first thing I said. I was like, hey, they're all 11 now. Not the age 11.
Yeah. So they have to now escape because everything's failing any matter of time. So they're going to take a shuttle now and use that to... Oh.
That bubble collapsing just wrecked the top quantum ring as well. Damaged it, so they have no they can't move at all now. Before they could move in subspace, just not in quantum. So yeah, now they have to use a shuttle to tow them out. How are they going to do that?
Well, with science, even more science, and science within science. There's a lot of stuff sort of happening, but it's a nice brisk pace if we know what we're doing.
But you missed an important thing before that. They were talking about creating the 3D bubble inside the shuttle. The exterior would be flat, but the interior wouldn't be. And they said about a larger interior than an exterior.
Yeah.
And they say, like Doctor Who's phone booth, Oscar the Grouch's can, Snoopy's doghouse, and I also wrote Pokeball and the TOS Enterprise shuttle bay. They should have mentioned that. So we've established in this universe, Star Wars, Doctor Who, Sesame Street, and Peanuts all exist. I'm waiting for the Star Trek reference. Is there going to be one?
Everything else exists, so you would think. Yeah, that was fun. Although I was like, phone box. You never really call it a phone box. You call it TARDIS, but that's copyright. I'm assuming, even though Doctor Who is. I was like, that's.
Well, it could be. It's such an old TV show. He knows about it, but he doesn't know that it's called the TARDIS. Maybe.
So they leave in the shuttle, and then it goes 2D, really cool, really nice. I don't know how the hell you can keep 3D inside of a 2D. That doesn't make any sense to me. I was like, that's just science fiction right there. No idea.
How can the TARDIS be so big inside? That's just doesn't make sense either.
That's hyper advanced alien
Quantum mechanics is what it is.
Yep.
And he says the transition from 3D to 2D is going to be kind of jarring, so brace yourself. I'm fine. And the next scene, only it's Lamarr doing it, which was awesome.
And just the timing of that was perfect. How long it was. He's like, yeah. Not often throw up jokes make me laugh, but it's like, yeah, that's fine.
Yep. And then they have a good conversation. I want you as chief engineer when we get back, and you've really proved yourself these last few days. But then the shuttle starts to fail.
Well, what's the explanation for? He asked him, why do you pretend to be dumb? What's the explanation given?
Because the colony he was on was a new colony, so it had a lot of construction and farmers and Luddites, basically, I guess. So to be super intelligent, really, he didn't fit in. So he kind of pretended that it wasn't important, just so that he wouldn't get made fun of, picked on, thrown in lockers.
And then it became habit.
Yep.
Interesting conversation piece there. I mean, you can certainly relate to it, and if you, it's like even just William Shatner. I mean, you become the character of yourself if you play it long enough. You know, it happens. Now, what did you think about Ed actually offering him chief engineer? Did he actually earn it at this point?
I don't think so. I think he didn't have enough experience in engineering. I thought it was a very odd transition, and I don't really want to see him off the bridge. I love his interactions with Gordon at helm. So yeah. I'm not really looking forward to how it's going to go
Let's
forward.
double down on that right at the end, because the last frame is that decision. Let's talk about him being in a different position then. But yeah, I thought, I want you as my second in command engineer. I want you to be the guy that I want you to be my guy down there. I thought that's what he was going to say, because Chief is really, it's nothing against him personally. He's not right. Yeah,
it's a specific training you need to take, and he's got the scores for it, but he's not necessarily doesn't have the experience.
So then they do successfully get out, although there's a really strange scene where we haven't got enough power, Captain. We'll go to temporal, quantum drive. That's dangerous. And then the effect doesn't change at all. They don't, it's just zooming faster. It's like, that's not really how it works, but okay. We're going faster now. Whatever. We're safe. They saved. They were safe. And then a great little moment I again chuckled at. So she's like, hail the shuttle. And they've got these... the
Kleenexes in their nose.
Yeah. It's just fun. Yeah. And Kelley's face is genuinely bemused. She's thoroughly bemused by that. I love the actor's reaction there. It's great.
Yeah. So anyway, John gets his promotion to lieutenant commander, and gets chief engineer.
And Ed kind of apologizes to Kelley, saying, "I understand how I was and how it seemed. You did what was best for me. Thanks so much." And he kisses her on the cheek, and her face at the end is like, that means something maybe, and it's all like, "Aw, you guys," because she says, which is earlier on, but I want to bring it up now. She said, "I did what I did because you are a great officer, you're a great person, and by doing this I get to spend every day with you." And I'm like, oh, it's so cute.
So it's good to see that their relationship's kind of getting back to normal. I think it can now. They might even get back together at some point, who knows. So the next scene we see Lamarr down in engineering talking to the crew. He's like, if we can increase engine efficiency up to 97%, we'll be able to take off early and get wasted. And everybody's like, yeah, finally a boss that early gets us. Yay. I thought that was kind of cool.
Because the other guy did like to drink, we know that, but I love the idea of he's looking for excellence, and if you give him excellence, we also get to hang out and just chill more.
Yeah.
So that was fun. That was a good last bit. And his last shot, him, new rank pips. He's actually wearing the uniform straighter, I felt like prouder, which was something, and a really good last shot. And this is the time to say, okay, so engineering room, does he fit there? You said you don't really want him there, but
it just draws a lot of parallels between TNG, where Forge was on the bridge. Forge was at helm for the first season. They had no chief engineer, and all of a sudden he's chief engineer, and everybody kind of fills their roles on the show. It's kind of like they're following that template almost a little bit.
That. Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't, when they went to this second dimension, he didn't go blind or something and need some kind of prosthetic device.
Or deaf.
To see.
It's interesting. I mean, hell of a good character growth. I mean, it's like you don't often see them actually full on change. And I mean, we have said this. He has had the least to do. He has been given the least. And even on the bridge, he's just the guy you bounce a joke off of.
Yeah.
He was the Kim in a sense. He just reads the dialogue. So okay, TNG parallels absolutely, but giving him chief engineer, he now has a purpose, and we can have these great, communicate down to engineering and say, and he can also report back and say what's happening. I mean, it really gives him a real purpose now. Yeah. And he, maybe they wanted to pull away from the silliness and give him, because a silly guy in power is kind of interesting, friends with all his employees, and we're going to have great reactions with the guy with the head, because he's going to be in it now, because he's on the engineering team, so they'll have a fun little rapport. But definitely TNG parallels, and it could be fun, because every ship needs a good engineer. I mean, Scotty, we saw how good he was on the show, to have an engineer be there front and centre of the main crew.
Yeah. And there's even kind of DS9 parallel a little bit with Bashir's intelligence coming out. Everybody realizing that Bashir's super intelligent, more so than he was initially. Not quite as parallelly, but it's worth mentioning anyway. Because now we know that he's going to be able to solve a lot of problems and really help out.
And he's probably also, now he's unlocked in his own head. Like, I was never trying to push. I was never in the situation to try and learn to do, to excel. What is he capable of now? I don't think even he knows. He hasn't tried. Yeah. So let's see what we can do. Yeah.
And one thing I have to say about this episode, okay, overall, good episode, good character development for Lamarr. Kind of glad that he got, better rank, and finally a piece that focused on him, not just being this silly, goofy jackass. So a good episode overall, some good science and some good ideas there, but a severe lack of Alaura. I've really started to like Alaura, and she's like got maybe 2 lines in this one. Not a big deal. I mean, there's episodes where that's going to happen. And Bordas. So like I said, some very 2-dimensional characters in this episode.
I mean, obviously last time was Alaura literally 100%. So I mean, everyone bounces.
Yep. Yeah, I know.
It is the problem with an ensemble cast, but yes, certainly. And it wasn't all. Yeah.
So in conclusion, what's your?
I mean, it was good. It was like I said, it was fun. It was good. It enhances the show and the universe while not being the most high quality TV episode, but certainly not bad. I mean, love how just having the sets and just do anything. All the characters we're building the universe. I mean, come on, you've liked everyone since like episode 3, and so it's great to see them develop and their stories grow, because now we know with season 2 they can do so much with this show, and we have never seen this story of the 2D universe, and then it's great. It's an awesome concept, and I'm glad they're not afraid to do science. Even if it's bunk science, I mean, it's still fun science fiction science.
Well, there was the 2D life forms in TNG that was pulling the Enterprise towards the quantum filament, or remember, there was the 2D life forms that existed in 2 dimensions.
Vaguely, not really.
Anyway, they were pulling the Enterprise towards a dangerous quantum filament because it was like a moth to a flame. Anyway, but yes, so there is the 2D thing in TNG as well. But
exactly, out of 10, I'm about to say the same thing. Stuart, you give you out of 10 first then, because...
Well, I always go first. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. Good, solid episode, but not, not hit it out of the park. Emmy Award winning, awesome Pulitzer Prize winning, Science of the Year episode kind of thing.
100% agree. 7.5, maybe 8 in retrospect. Once we're in the whole show, maybe. Like, if he becomes a great engineer and you see the growth, you'd be like, okay, that's a really good him episode. But yeah, 7.5, strong.
We never agree on a rating like that.
Yeah, but yeah, it is good, and it's definitely worth a watch. Yeah, good job, guys.
All right, so what did you guys think of the episode? Please put your comments down below and like this video, share it around to everybody you think would enjoy it, any Orville fans out there, and don't forget to check all of our social media links. They're in the description below, and join the Fleetyards and Trekyards pages on Facebook, because that'd be awesome. And please subscribe to the channel.
Yes, and if you want to support us directly, there's 2 great ways, beyond just, like you said, sharing and subscribing and such. You can support us on Patreon, the monthly donation service that YouTubers like us use to support what we do, to pay for kit, and just give us the time to spend the time to make the time that you get to watch and enjoy. That all made sense, really. Or a one-time donation, just a kind of thank you or a present, Christmas present, hey, at trekyards.com. Click the donate button and give what you can for the hard work we do each and every week. And until next week, another of the last couple of Orville episodes, sad face, but hopefully they'll jump into high gear and make the next season so you can watch it. Hopefully. Until next time, he is Captain Foley.
And he is the very 2-dimensional Samuel Cocky.
Both. Flat.
I'm just kidding. I've actually met you in person, and you're 3D. I can like poke you in the shoulder and stuff.
We always do. Like, then just ignore it because it's like it's 2 3Ds.
Anyway, guys, see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.